Evening, guys. I hope you are well. I'm not sure if you can see me. I'm having a bit of a dilemma here. I did say it was going to be the first webinar in a while. So yes, it's been a little bit crazy here in the house while I've been getting this all sorted. The first thing I want to do is apologise for some of the slides, as I've literally just loaded it up a few minutes ago. I can see some of the wording's a little bit distorted, but I don't put loads of words on my slides anyway. It's usually me waffling through. So hopefully we'll be okay as we work our way through this evening. I've not done all of these for a long time now. I did lots during COVID and shortly afterwards, but it's been a while since I've done one. So please bear with me. The main thing we're here to learn about this evening is luminescence and also pigmentation as well. So we're going to be touching on the reasons that pigmentation occurs, how and why. Hopefully we know this already, but just to refresh on that as well. And also some links to send you. I've just written some recent blogs for Shop Beautiful, which include different types of pigmentation that you may come across within your clinics as well. So without further ado, we'll get started so you can get off and have your tea or whatever. I have kicked the kids out, so hopefully the Wi-Fi should be okay. I have 3 crazy dogs here, so I apologise if they start barking or fighting. I will mute it, sort them out, and we will carry on as normal. One of my dogs you can see on there, that's Ralph. He's a Dalmatian, and what that should say is not all spots we love, which is true really. A lot of our clients come to us because they have concerns about pigmentation. So I'm excited to tell you this evening just about how I've been helping my clients with pigmentation, my own pigmentation journey as well, which we'll touch on along the way. And obviously the new Luminescens that we have from the CMED range as well, which is now available to buy. If you stay on till the end of the webinar, there is a nice little discount code as well. So you can maybe get your first box with, or a few boxes with a little bit of a discount to get started yourself on this treatment as well. So please do stay till the end and you'll get that as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's make a start. So if you are watching this evening, what I would love you to do is pop into the chat for me what it is that you do, where you're from, kind of introduce yourself to others and both me as well. I will pop on the chat at the end. So I'll obviously say hi to everybody that's on there, both here and also on the chat as well. I always like to know where we're all from and things like that and what you're up to. Tell me about your clinics, tell me about your concerns. And as I'm asking questions as I'm going through as well, please pop that in the chat along. So it just makes it a little bit more interactive and a little bit less than like Annette talking to an iPad in her kitchen. Okay, so if you have any kind of formal questions though about the products, about the procedure, about protocols and things like that, please pop it into the Q&A. And then I can keep an eye on that and obviously make sure those questions are answered as we're working our way through. I've not seen any message to say that you can't hear me, so let me just double check that. I'm hoping you all can. Yeah, that's fine. Just double check that. Perfect. That's good. Excellent. So let's make a start. So I expect this to be around 45-ish minutes with questions. It depends how interactive it is and how many questions that we do have as well. And there is quite a few people on the webinar this evening. So please bear with me if the questions are coming in. I'll do my best to answer them all, but my contact details are going to be at the bottom. And of course, the guys at Shop Beautiful are very, very helpful as well. Whilst you're watching this evening, I would love for you to share that you're watching this webinar. We're going to be launching some more webinars moving forward as well for different conditions and concerns and how you can utilise treatments from the Shop Beautiful range as well. So please do tag us in. They know that I'm doing my job. They know that hopefully, we're talking to you about the treatments and the products that you can offer your clients as well. Shop Beautiful UK, as you can see hopefully on the slide there, CMED Aesthetics, and then you're more than welcome to tag me in. And of course you can contact me via social media as well. So a little bit about myself. I am a self-professed skin geek, if there even is such a thing. I absolutely love everything there is to do with skin and smiles, and I like making people successful. You see what I did there? So ultimately, I started my kind of skin journey as quite a few of us have probably done, starting off on the injectable side of things. My background is dentistry. I am a dental hygienist and dental therapist by trade. I still do that 1 to 2 days a week as well. But my skin clinic up in Wirksworth, Derbyshire, which is called W Skin. You're more than welcome to check that out. There's lots of befores and afters on there as well. That's based up in Derbyshire. and I worked there the rest of the week as well. And I kind of fell into the whole skin thing from my own concerns that I had, from concerns that I was having with clients as well that were coming through the door. And ultimately, for me, a big one has and is and will always be pigmentation concerns. You may address, obviously, the actual concern. If we're talking about kind of acute acne and things like that, you address the acne and the bacteria, then you're always left with any scarring and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation as well. So I'm really passionate about helping my clients with that, because they get so far, skin is better because they're not getting the pustules and the papules and all of that stuff going on. And there's another product that we can lean on for that, as we know, hopefully, the BioRepeel. And then we can really, really help them with their pigmentation concerns to follow on. So the whole kind of CMED Aesthetics portfolio, what they have going for it, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that you can obviously treat acute conditions like acne, general skin concerns with the likes of the BioRepeel, then you can move into and onto the Luminescens as well, using them in conjunction and in collaboration to get the best results that you want for your client as well, and what they want, of course. And then, the other thing to think about is home care. I'm waffling on now as I do, but we'll talk through how we've kind of got all of that in one box, ultimately, when you're ordering the Luminescens for your patients and your clients as well. So as I said, my background is dentistry. I absolutely love all there is to do with skin, but I still work with smiles along the way as well. Honoured, as always, to be asked by Shop Beautiful to do this webinar this evening. So very excited to hopefully get all of you revved up and fired up to use this product as well at the same time. And just check the Q&A because I can see a few things popping up. Okay, that's fine. We're just saying, okay, that's good. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Let me just check the chat. Bear with me. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so I think the Q&A section, from what I can see, is saying that it's disabled. So what I would ask, if it's possible, is to put your messages in the webinar chat for me. So any questions or messages you want to send me, please pop them in the webinar chat, because it seems that the Q&A is disabled. And I don't know why I don't know why the chat is disabled. Yes, okay, perfect. Right, I want to crack on now. The chat isn't working, so I'm really, really sorry. What I will do, I don't know why it isn't working. I don't want to mess around with it and end it again. So if you have any questions, pop them through to my email, which will be there at the end for you. So it's going to be a bit rubbish because it's not interactive, but I don't know how to resolve this, and I want to get cracking for you guys this evening. So as we were, so a little bit about my own pigmentation journey. When I had my daughter, I started getting really, really bad pigmentation issues, and I used to be even an avid sunbed user, not anymore. That has changed a lot since I now know what I know about skin. And I had my own kind of pigmentation journey to go on when I first started in aesthetics as well. And I have utilised a few products, but more of recently, because as we know about melasma, if you read the blog that I posted, there'll be a link to that a little bit later on as well. It can and will always come back, because the area of pigmentation is potentially an area that is, is at risk of future pigmentation breakouts and things like that as well, in consideration of contributing factors that may occur for it. So it is important that we educate our clients to that fact. So obviously now I know what I know. I have made changes to my lifestyle as well, but I've also utilised treatments to really help with my skin concerns along the way as well. So there'll be links to the little blogs that I keep talking about. I think it's coming up just now, so you can scan and take a look at that as well. So what is pigmentation? If we, it's really rubbish, I can't speak to you in the chat, I'll just keep waffling away. So what is pigmentation? If you scan over onto that QR code, if you've probably seen these already, that's great if you have. There's a blog series that I created, I think there's 3, maybe 4 blogs, and it talks through all the various types of pigmentation that may occur, from melasma hormonal pigmentation to just general skin aging, to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, to medicine-induced pigmentation. And for want of me waffling on about these all evening, I'd love to. However, for time, I want to obviously recap on it a little bit. So tonight is going to be a little bit of a smaller education session around pigmentation. More time is going to be spent talking to you about the product. But if you really want to kind of hone in on those various types of pigmentation concerns, then please scan that QR code, and it should take you to the Shop Beautiful blog. If you can't scan it, head onto the Shop Beautiful website, go onto the blogs and you will see them all in there for you with lots of detail and references to where I get my information from for this as well, alongside my experience along the way. So you feel free to have a little look at those both while I'm waffling away, or potentially after this evening while it's still fresh. But let's recap on what I talked about in those blogs. So we're going to discover the issue of hyperpigmentation and why it occurs. You know, how and when and why and what creates this problem with the skin and our patients that have these problems as well. The causes of hyperpigmentation, so the etiology of hyperpigmentation and how and why it occurs, and the solution for all types of pigmentation, if there even is one. You probably understand that there will be by the end of this evening. So hyperpigmentation uncovered, that's part of the problem. As I've said, I'm sorry about the text that's offset, a nightmare this evening. So hyperpigmentation uncovered, if somebody is not wearing appropriate SPF and appropriate sun protection and has a good, you know, a decent-ish skin regimen, my mindset is, what is the point in us even thinking about trying to address their skin concerns? They have to put the work in at home. So what they're doing twice a day at home makes the optimum difference, okay? So the many reasons that pigmentation can occur, but the main reason is a preventable one, and that's the extrinsic factor of UV rays. So we can actually prevent those UV rays from penetrating our skin and causing pigmentation concerns. No matter what type, there are certain, obviously, medications and hormones that can stimulate more melanin production by that melanocyte, but that melanin is only produced or predominantly produced because of UV radiation and rays that hit in the skin. Yes, sometimes inflammation can obviously create unwanted pigment, like your purple patches around scarring, around acne scars and things like that as well. However, the main predecessor for pigmentation is a preventable aspect, which is insane. So the best part of teaching and creating these, you know, treatment plans for our patients is to start, and clients, is to start with education. So from an extrinsic point of view, we've got obviously UV rays, we've got general UV rays, radiation, we have other environmental aggressors, chemicals, if they're working with chemicals quite often, if they're outside all the time, they've got the elements of the cold winds, dog walkers, things like that. You will see all walks of life, runners in particular, because a lot of them, when I'm speaking to them, they're not actually putting any products on their skin. What's the point? I'm sweating it off. So it's really, really good to hone in on that education aspect as well from the beginning. So how pigmentation occurs, we have a cell called a melanocyte. You can see it pictured here. It's a dendritic cell. What that means is it's got lots of arms kind of coming up away off of it. It's kind of around that basal layer of the skin, to the base layer just before we hit our dermis there as well. And it is there to protect. So it produces melanin to protect our DNA. Ultimately, that's what it's there for. So we need it to do its job. What can happen, as with most cells and as with most conditions with the body or any sort of disease, you see that cell that starts to not function properly. And in relation to skin, that's when we start to see pigmentation, and pigmentation will occur. A lot of the time, the damage that we see physically that comes through the skin is something that was done a long time ago. So obviously, yes, I used to use, sunbeds and things like that a lot, but I didn't see that pigmentation until I had my daughter. Hormones induced, another kind of contributing factor. I was a bit of a sun worshipper and a sun lover as well. So all that kind of delayed damage, that onset kind of flared its head when it had that last big kick to it, which was the hormones from the pregnancy as well. There are other intrinsic factors to consider, of course, as well, as we've just talked about: hormones, medication, genetics, obviously skin type, skin tone. Hopefully we all know a little bit more about the Fitzpatrick skin scale. And, sometimes we have darker skin types that are more prone to pigmentation as well. And that's not because they have more melanocytes, they are producing more melanin, they're producing more pigment because that is their skin type and tone as well. So there's, we've all got the same amount of cells within there, but it's the production that will acquire that skin colour for the patients, for the clients as well. So multiple factors as to how and why this occurs. And as I said, we'll talk about this in a lot more detail on those blogs for you as well. So please do explore them. If anybody wants the link, I'll pop it up right at the end as well for you, but it is on the Shop Beautiful website as well. So what happens with this melanocyte? It produces this melanin, this pigment, and that is what produces that colour to the area. So in relation to inflammation, think of that melanocyte that sits across the basal cell, and the basal cell is kind of disrupted by consistent pustules and papules and areas of inflammation around the cell itself. So that's why it starts to overproduce this pigmentation to really help protect. It kind of detects this danger to the area, so it will produce more pigmentation. So how can we help? And what can we do to help our patients? The first thing is lifestyle. I would always talk to them about that generally anyway. Taking a look at managing expectations with these cases is key in my experience as well. If you have someone that has lots and lots of these boxes ticked, they may have systemic inflammation going on, there may be genetics that are playing a part here, there may be certain medications. If you can get a copy of the BNF, that's a formula for different medications, you will see, I dare say, around about 80%. If you scroll down and look at the signs, the symptoms of taking a certain medication, photosensitizing is pretty much on quite a lot of them. But usually a GP should be telling that patient if it will make their skin more photosensitized as well. But my point here is, if you've got a patient or a client in front of you that has multiple indications of these things going on, it's really, really important from the off that we manage their expectations accordingly. But when we've got a product that we can lean on that kind of covers all bases, such as the Luminescens, and I like an easy life. I don't know about you, as somebody that does treatments, I like to sleep at night. I like to know that the products that I'm using are going to give me results. And that's something I didn't say at the beginning here. I'm not just here to try and sell the product. Of course I am, but that's only because I've had results from it myself as well. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. So I really have to believe in a product to talk about it. There's not loads of products that I work with because I don't need to. I find one that works and I stick with that. So again, I'm not kind of that person that's just sat here doing that. So I wanted to make that clear as well. So if you have someone that's dealing with lots of other things, it's really important to hone in on lifestyle changes that can be made as well, and talking them through that as to how you can help to manage their expectations for an easy life, and so you can sleep better as well. In my opinion, and hopefully most of ours already, we know that home care is essential to tackle pigmentation. And, when I was kind of first starting out, I was exploring loads of different things. And, I even did various webinars during lockdown, and I've got lots of handbooks that I wrote about different skin ingredients, and there's certain things that you need in a product in order to address, in particular, pigmentation. Or if you have obviously acne breakouts and pigmentation going on, you might have rosacea concerns and pigmentation going on. So lots and lots of different ingredients you need to lean on to get the results. And then when these guys released Luminescens, and they have obviously, and BioRepeal, I'm a fan of that as well, as you probably know, I started to look at those ingredients in consideration of what I'd researched as being the best ingredients for these treatments. And I was kind of like, okay, it's got it all going on. So that's when I started to have a play around with it, and then the results speak for themselves. But home care is essential. And as we know, with the BioRepeal product, there is some home care, but it's a little bit limited. And when we are looking at, obviously, tackling pigmentation, to me, that is one of the most important things. That what a patient is doing or a client is doing twice a day at home is imperative. Once or twice a day, depending on, of course, their skin type. And that's why I like the whole package that we have at Luminescens, because it's all there for them, and it's something that you can lean on, and you've kind of got that box that you order in for them. So you can't tell me, but I'll talk to you about how I do it at the minute, because it's a little bit boring and not interactive this evening. But how do you treat pigmentation currently? I'd imagine some of you are kind of shouting at the screen. I use microneedling, I use chemical peels, some of you might use laser, some of you might use other forms of pigmentation removal that Annette can't think of right now. But there's many ways that we can tackle this concern. Plasma is a good one for kind of localized spots as well. But for me, the most common, aspects of pigmentation that I see is definitely melasma. That's definitely up there. I see a lot from gents that are outside a lot and they've not worn their SPF over a long period of time as well. And, just general post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And a lot of the things that I was trying before and the products I was trying before and the various procedures I was trying before was not quite cutting the mustard, if that makes sense. It wasn't giving me the results that I wanted. So I was always exploring until obviously, the guys came to me and said, we've got this product that's coming out. What do you think? I looked at the ingredients and I got very excited. Those of you who know me as a skin geek will understand and appreciate that as well. Not only that, so we've got a product and some protocols that work, but the results that you get from just a month is unbelievable. I was literally waiting for my clients to send me some pictures today of their skin because I've not seen them, and we're about day 28 from when I started for this webinar, so a little bit delayed. They will be going on my clinic page probably tomorrow once I've finally got them through. But if you start to follow Luminescens and CMED Aesthetics and obviously Shop Beautiful, you will see for yourself the difference in the results that you're getting from around about a month's worth of treatment, which is unbelievable as far as I'm concerned, when I've used other mesotherapies in the past and not really had the results like what I get with the likes of Luminescens as well. I have in my past, in the time, and I still do utilize BioRepel quite a lot with microneedling for pigmentation. But I find that leaning on this and Luminescens together, boom, results. The products just work so well together from the same portfolio. So it's definitely worth giving it a go, getting yourself some and having a go with it. So pigmentation solutions, Luminescens, you can see from the picture there, you have your mesotherapy. So your mesotherapy is what we apply. We're needling it into the skin, okay? We also have the home care that the patient and the client, or the client, sorry, I keep saying patient, in dental mode this week, but the client will take home with them, okay? And that is what they need to be utilizing alongside your professional treatments to get the best results. Now, obviously, we'll talk about protocols and frequency and how often we need to do it and the difference, how do we do this? But remember, protocol is a guide, and we must always address the skin that we have in front of us to get the best results ultimately. So if you're looking at somebody that has, more intense areas of pigmentation, then potentially, yes, we have our product in that vial, but you may need to lean on further sessions and or potentially just some support from other products like BioRepel along the way, okay? I use this a lot actually when I'm kind of talking and teaching things, and I think it kind of you either think I've lost the plot or it'll make sense to you and click. But for me, I'm a northern bird, and making the right Yorkshire, I am not the best cook in the world. I'm not sitting here and saying that I am, but I can make a mean Yorkshire pudding. So in order to make that Yorkshire pudding the best Yorkshire pudding that it is, then you need to put the right ingredients in and the right consistency of the ingredients. So I talk about other products in this way as well. So I'm a big believer in really knowing what it is that I'm putting on and or in my patient's face and how it's going to work and why. Okay, so I want to share that with you for the product a little bit later as well. But by having the correct consistency and the correct ingredients kind of together, then that's when we start to see results. So you either think I've lost the plot, or you kind of think, okay, yeah, I get what she's talking about. But I do use that analogy quite a lot as well. I do apologize for these messy slides. This is quite embarrassing, but I do not know what's happened. It's when I've kind of converted it to put it on here, it's just gone a little bit crazy. It didn't like this in front of me a couple of hours ago. So with those optimum ingredients, we will attain results. So we've got lots and lots of things attacking that concern to give us the results, and then throw in the home care along the way, and that's what certainly helps us. So an integrated approach, which hopefully most of us are already doing. There is not, I dare say, one product that will do everything for you, okay? So when it comes to pigmentation, you may need to lean on, you know, when I've used the Luminescens, I've done case studies with Luminescens on its own, fantastic results, and I've used it in conjunction with peels as well, with just as fantastic results, if not slightly better, because you're getting more benefits from the bio-peel along the way. So you need to kind of tailor that treatment plan to the patient, and sometimes you do need to lean on other treatments you already offer as well. So integrated approach, when you're dealing with skin concerns, we have to multitask, okay? So we have to think about how we can help our client with their home care, with their professional treatments as well. Or we can find a product or a set of products that does it all for us. And it's not very often that you get products, well, you do, you get lots of marketing is very good nowadays, isn't it? You get lots of products that claim and profess to help these things until you actually use them yourself and start to see the results, and the patients and the clients see the results, then we do sit and lie a bit skeptical. I do. I'm the biggest skeptic in the world when a new product comes out. I really want to see and explore it to the best of my abilities and to challenge it with lots and lots of different patients and or clients' concerns that I have. And I can do that. And I definitely recommend that you do the same. So let's have a little look at the product itself. So the strengths behind it. It's an innovative formula of outpatient mesotherapy. So our clients that we're seeing within our clinic that we can get in for a mesotherapy treatment. It has a patent pending. There isn't any products out there that have the same ingredients as this at the moment. So this is very, very innovative in terms of the treatment that we're offering. No waiting time after the treatment, so it's pretty much like a microneedling session, and they don't need to obviously apply any sort of aftercare as well. They also have minimal to no, we never say no downtime, but minimal downtime, so no negative impact on their daily life as well, which means you're gonna get compliance from the patient and the individual, because if they're not having shards of skin coming off and lots of redness for a long period of time, they're going to look forward to that next treatment when they start to see the results that will occur from the treatment itself. So cutting edge formula full of active ingredients made for home treatment with evident results and maximum safety and comfort as well. So we'll explore what's in the home care and what's in the vials as well. Lots and lots of ingredients, all with great merit towards the condition that we're treating as well. So again, if you take a screenshot, whatever you want to do of the actual ingredients themselves, and look into it yourself, because a lot of them are things that I've been exploring or separately putting clients on to address these different things until I had this product in front of me. So we can attain brighter skin. So we're going to obviously improve and even out that skin tone, as well as actually brighten the skin and kind of applying that youth back for the individual as well. And we're also going to block these melanin producing enzymes. And we'll talk through that in a moment, the tyrinase inhibitor, which we have within this product as well, which if anyone's ever seen me on a webinar or talk about any sort of pigmentation, I'm proper into tyrinase inhibitors. And there is more than one in this product, which is even better as well. And we want to obviously stop from excess melanin formation. So we still need to produce melanin for protection. We don't want to stop the body from doing that altogether, but we need to calm that melanocyte down that's a little bit overexcited, a bit like my Dalmatian over there, that probably knows is on the screen, and you can probably hear him whining as we speak. They've all been walks, but this is how it is this evening in my house, clearly. Antioxidants as well. I've not even said this yet, which is very surprising for me. Antioxidants are essential for skin brightening, for skin repair, and to remove our free radicals that are formed from everyday tasks. Even if we've got the best skin regimen, we are producing toxins underneath of our skin. So what we need to make sure that we're doing is that we're applying products at home and or having professional treatments that are going to remove these free radicals. What is a free radical? A free radical is a cell that is misbehaving. Another description from me, bit similar to Yorkshire pudding was, I'll apologise now. You imagine your cell, all my cells in my body are like stars. They've got 5 prongs to them. They're floating around doing their business. One of those prongs falls off, so I've got a 4-sided star wandering around, and it's getting a little bit upset and a bit of FOMO going on, so it's afraid of missing out. It's going to go around and try and pinch another prong off another star, so it's going to go around and actually start to destroy other cells. What your antioxidants will do is come flying in and remove those cells that aren't functioning properly. So that's why it's important that we eat and drink to retain, antioxidant activity in our body systemically, but also when it comes to home care, it's essential to make sure that we're removing anything that is going to potentially cause damage to our skin and, of course, our DNA along the way. So what I had in here above this on the title that has completely disappeared, and I have no idea why, it did say the game changer. And as it says here, the Innovative Professional Kit is the game changer in depigmentation therapy. In the box, you will get 2 vials, which is for 4 outpatient treatments, okay? So obviously, for each person that you are treating for pigmentation, you're going to buy in 1 box for them. You're going to offer 4 treatments, and then you've got their home care alongside as well. The frequency of those treatments, they need to be quite close together. I'll talk about protocol towards the end a little bit more as to how I use this product. But remember, you're using a product with minimal downtime. As with anything, if we wanted to really kind of address it hard in the first instance, it's good to try and treat it quite acutely initially. So over 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to be delivering these 4 outpatient treatments potentially, and then our home care that they're going to be taking home with them as well. That said, we address the person in front of us. And obviously budget may be a contributing factor to them having these appointments. So what I would suggest is that you have it as a package. That's how I've done it at my clinic. So we kind of commit to these 4 sessions within a time frame, and they have the home care alongside as well. How you produce the price of that package is dependent on your demographics and your clinic. So look at how much you're buying that kit in for. Look at your overheads. I only did that this year, so I'm not showing off or anything, but like literally I had no idea how much each treatment cost me until somebody sat down with a spreadsheet. Very boring, but very essential for any business. And you can kind of see how much you need to be charging these patients to make that revenue back. Because remember, you've got your other consumables, your PPE, you've got your microneedling tips, your cleansers, all of those things that you need to include as well. So that, people always ask me, well, how much you charge? How much you charge? It's very dependent on your clinic. I've got a 3-story clinic that costs me an awful lot more of money to actually keep it running initially. So my overheads are higher. So just, kind of sit down and make sure you've got that. But that said, when you're doing case studies, it's very exciting to offer these treatments at not a discounted cost, we don't call it a discount, but an introductory offer and or case study selection. So kind of pick various types of pigmentation that we potentially see. So find someone with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, find someone with history of melasma and melasma-induced pigmentation, and find someone with just general skin aging and skin concerns, age spots, liver spots, and things like that. And I dare you to kind of target them with the treatment like this as well, and you will see for yourself the game changer that it is. So I've already mentioned that my background is dentistry. So within dentistry, we act on evidence-based information, and all the treatments that we do have to be evidence-based and very, very robust. So I stand by that, and I use the same methodology when I'm looking at treatments to help with my clients' concerns in a skin setting as well. So I like to see clinical results, and I like to read papers that tell me that what I'm going to be doing for that person in front of me, as well as managing their expectations, it's managing my own of that product and its ability as well. So if you go on to the Shop Beautiful website, there should be a link for this study at the bottom of the product. If I'm telling you wrong, then I'm sorry. It will be on there soon, because I've asked them to pop these things on, because some of us like to see it, some of us don't. But you have a product that you can rely on and utilize for your patients as well. So 95% of patients, and I know mine, I've got, I had a message it was about 2 weeks ago. I'm doing a girl for her wedding. Her skin, we got on top of the acne with BioRepeal. We're now left with lots of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation scars. Overall skin tone is a bit disappointing. BioRepeal's helped a little bit, as we know. Hopefully that some of you are already using it. We just need to lean on something else. And within 1 session, and I think she'd been using the cream for about 6 or 7 days. I'm blown away, and she's blown away. And she messaged me saying this is an absolute, well, I think she'd used the word game changer. She loved how her skin felt with the peels, but now we've added this in at the end of that treatment plan. She's like, this is really changing how my skin looks, Annette. So that's quite rewarding as well. But yeah, 95% of patients gave a positive opinion to the treatment. Reducing these skin spots, age spots, liver spots, PIH, anything else that's going on as well. It's pleasant, it's not hot, it doesn't burn like other things that we can potentially use as a mesotherapy from the CMED range as well. So we don't have any discomfort for the patient. And that said as well, if you've got someone that is more at risk of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and or reactive oxidative stress, which I talk about in my blog. So again, you see how this would have carried on a lot longer if I'd have done that this evening. Please do check that out. So you are, just keeping yourself refreshed when it comes to pigmentation, the various pigment concerns that you can have. But yeah, minimal discomfort when we're having the treatment. And the home product is comfortable. It does contain a retinol. We'll see that in a moment. So it is going to help with that skin cell turnover, which, as we know, is optimum and required when we're looking at resurfacing and improving and preventing, obviously, pigmentation from coming back as well. So we've got our enzyme blockers, so our tyranase inhibitors. Can you see why I got so excited about this product? Look at that list of tyranase inhibitors, okay? No, I am not going to sit and go through all of them and say them after the evening that I've had so far getting on this webinar, but you can see for yourself there. There's some names that we kind of see that pop up quite a lot in the industry, but there's quite a few newish ones to me anyway. So when I obviously first saw this product, I really started to look into this and think, that's I've not used anything with that in before, so that's going to give me a really, really different result to anything that I've ever done before. Feel free to take a picture of this and you can kind of see which tyranase inhibitor is going to work in what way to actually potentially address the pigmentation in front of us and prevent it from coming back, because that's the most important aspect, especially with any pigmentation concern. Remember that melanocyte, it's been a little bit upset, it is more prone to doing it again. So we need to be using something that's going to kind of slow down and or block those that enzyme from being produced that tells our melanocyte to make melanin. Look at the list of them. That's why Annette got excited about this product. Anyone that's seen my webinars pigmentation before will know just how much I waffle on about tyranase inhibitors. I used to lean on one or two. I've now got a product with all of these in, which is even more exciting. So melanin formation and transport blockers, so preventing that melanin from getting itself to the surface there and working its way out. We've got a list of 5 products there that are going to utilize and do this for us. We've got something that's going to kind of calm down our melanocytes when they're behaving and misbehaving and producing too much pigment as well. We've got something that's actually a youth enzyme, so it's going to mimic, I can't say that, thymopotin, well done, and it's going to provide that more youthful overall look to our patient's skin as well. I've had a heavy Monday today. It's an admin day. We're also looking to regulate pigmentation and melanin production through interactions with our skin receptors. So in relation to the technology of this product, it speaks for itself in comparison to others that I've utilized and used. And again, the results you'll see for yourself as well. But yeah, okay, we've got our tyranase inhibitors. We've got something that's going to prevent excessive melanin formation. But what about the actual skin itself? Because we may be able to address all of that, but then we need to rely on something that's really going to help gently provide that increased skin cell turnover. So our skin cell turnover is around about 28 days. As we get older, that will slow down just a little bit. But when it comes to pre-existing skin concerns and overproduction of melanin, we want to get that pigmentation out of the skin ultimately, and we are going to need to rely on skin cell turnover for that. So as we know, when we do any sort of microneedling, we're encouraging a faster skin cell turnover especially if we're mixing it with various mesotherapies as well. But if we add in the likes of our citric, our tartaric, and our salicylic acid, that's going to really help exfoliate that top layer of the skin and those layers of dead skin cells that's preventing our new skin cells from coming through. We're also going to throw in our retinol, which is there to help increase that epidermal turnover and improve the condition of the skin at home as well. Antioxidants, I've talked about this, and our free radical scavengers, our reactive oxidative stress reactors. Look at the blog and kind of get your head around that a little bit more as well. Action against pigment increasing free radicals. Anti-inflammatory, so we need to prevent further inflammation and or calm down the inflammation that's currently there as well. And we're going to use our peptide for that. Glutathione, that's our powerful antioxidant. As we know, it's in quite a lot of other products that we potentially use already, because it really helps flush out the skin and remove those toxins. And then we have our tocopherol acetate, which is there to increase antioxidant activity along the way. The other thing that I throw in at the end of treatment, and this is me being honest, because as I said at the beginning, I'm talking to you as a clinic owner, as a salon owner. I do these treatments myself still as well. I'm a big believer in vitamin C as well. There is other products that you can lean on potentially with that, and it's something that I definitely recommend all my pigment clients use alongside as well. But you do need to be careful when we're using any sort of retinols with vitamin C. Retinol can be a bit of a diva. So what I would suggest is, if you're doing this for a package for a patient, just get them to use this initially, okay? And then, that's when you use your experience and you can start to think about adding in your other recommendations along the way. So look at the list of ingredients in there. Again, I'm not going to talk all the way through them this evening. You can see them for yourself and the benefits of what they are and why they do what they do and why they've chose to put it in the product. Some you'll recognize, some that you might not. I know I was quite new to a few of them when I first came across this product, but we are dealing with a really innovative future-proof product. Really, they need to crack on and get the patent pended though for putting ingredients out there. That was my thought when I put this on here today. But there are lots of things in there that we know, love and recognize, but when you actually start to look into the ingredients a little bit more as well, you'll see how and why we're getting the results that we are. So we use a microneedling device. I use a microneedling device, a medical microneedling device, when I'm delivering this treatment to the patient as well. I know the questions are going to be kind of the sort of depths and things that we want to use. Now, I read a book by Lance Setterfield around about 5 years ago, and it kind of changed up how I do microneedling. So when it comes to microneedling, we don't actually need to go that deep, in my opinion, to get the results that we get, okay? Hear me out. What happens is, if we go too deep with a microneedling device, you then start to get the platelets involved. Then you can get something called reactive oxidative stress, and that's going to induce more inflammation. So you're actually then kind of at a point where you don't want to be in relation to collagen therapy and actually helping the skin as well. So the deepest that I've actually microneedled this product in is around about 0.5 or 0.6, and we've still seen the results that we're getting. The protocols are available for this product, so when you do order it via the guys over at Shop B, you'll have it all in a written form as well, and it's all on there for you. But I'm a big believer in less is more, both in many ways, that less is more, and you don't need to be kind of going gung-ho with this and thinking, I've got to get this nice and deep, because that's when you start to get all the things that start to get involved. So that's my own stance on it as a clinician that's doing these treatments for you guys as well. And the home care, they get around 30 mils that they can utilize at home. Applying it once a day initially, and they can build up, as you'll see. My first client initially, I first used with this, we were doing kind of every other day and just built them up onto it, because as you can see, there's quite a lot of products in there, and some of them can be potentially a little bit reactive in relation to your retinols and things. So just less is more, and just see how their skin adapts to it as well. And that's why it's important, again, if you've got any other skin concerns going on, that you address address those first, in my opinion. We've got the likes of our Aries as well that you can now lean on. So, you know, if you have other skin concerns going on, then address that initially and then move on to pigmentation afterwards. Pigmentation's been there quite a while. I used to say it takes a while to get rid of something that's been there a while, but with this product, not so much. But you need to kind of look at the contributing factors and what else you can start to help them with initially as well. Pictures here, these are off the CMED website. As I say, mine will be going on probably in the next 3 to 5 days on my clinic page, my befores and afters, and I will be forwarding them over to Shop Beautiful so they can use them as well. I'm just waiting on permissions today, so they've not come through in time for today, and this month has run away with me. So by having that integrated approach, that should be a title on there that isn't there, an integrated approach and kind of all those ingredients, look at all those little arrows, that was what I was talking about. You've got a multifaceted approach. You're not just leaning on one or two things to give us the result. You've got lots and lots of different things that work in collaboration together to give us the results. We're going to calm that melanocyte down. We're going to reduce the amount of inflammation, antioxidants that are going on. We are going to help lighten the skin with, you know, like our citric acids. We're going to use our enzyme blockers that kind of calm that cell down and produce less melanin, but we still need to produce melanin like we talked about. We're just going to calm down that process to allow the product to do what we want it to do. This did say, and again, it's a blank slide that Annette's having to improvise with this evening, SPF. So you will see in this product, there is no SPF, okay? So your only other thing that I would say to add to this is a good quality SPF. If you're building it as part of a package, you must include, if the booking is a package, so yeah, that's great, you get your home care, you know, you may potentially want to sell them a decent quality pH restorative cleanser as well, potentially a toner, and then you can obviously definitely get them on an SPF, else this is a completely pointless exercise as far as I'm concerned. I actually turn patients and clients away that use sunbeds and or lie to me about using sunbeds, which you can usually tell. We have such good quality, chemical-free, false tan that is now available here in the UK and beyond. So I think there is, you know, there's no need to be putting your skin through that. And I certainly don't want to be doing treatments on somebody that's going to encourage a faster skin cell turnover if they're going to go away and use a sunbed. So I feel very strongly about that. And it's certainly a contraindication for me starting any sort of treatment with a patient as well. So consider an SPF. There are a few that I like from Shop Beautiful that are on their shop. The dermal corrective one, which is by Dermaceutic, the K-Sutic, which is a factor 50, because it's got like zinc and vitamin E, and it helps kind of soothe the skin along the way. You've also got the Helio Care range on the Shop Beautiful page as well. So you must be applying an SPF, in my opinion, a minimum of a 50 if they're having these sort of treatments, because as wonderful as this product is, and hopefully you've got that by the end of this evening, you still going to be putting yourself at a risk with one of the main contributing factors of pigmentation, which is UV rays. So you must be wearing an SPF. And in the note of pigmentation, there may be times that you see something on somebody that it doesn't quite look right, and that's very important. We know what and where to do and who to direct them to with that. Some of you who've seen me before and know who I am an ambassador for the Karen Clifford Skin Cancer Charity. So they have an online accreditation, which I always like to mention just for a minute if I get it. And you can go online. It teaches you what to look out for when it comes to concerns in relation to pigment and non-pigmented lesions, and when we need to be referring it for a second opinion, as opposed to try and treat it with any of the above or any treatments that we offer. So this is on an online accreditation that you can do. So have a little scan of that, and hopefully that will take you over to their website, and you can see 20 or 40 pounds, depending on which one that you do. If you're a medical professional, I'd suggest you do the Masquerade Pro. Talks to you about nice guidelines and how to refer. As somebody, as a general guide, the actual Masquerade, I believe that anybody working with the public should be doing. PTs, chiropractors, I don't know, acupuncture. I'm trying to think of any off the top of my head now. Really, really important thing to do. And there's your code. So those of you that stayed on to the end to listen to that absolute nonsense of me waffling through with slides everywhere, dogs whining in the background, I hope you've got a better grasp of the idea of how this product is going to work. So I can imagine, I can't see the questions and answers. I'm so sorry for this, but my details are down here. So feel free to drop me a message, or the guys over at Shop Beautiful, because it is bad that I can't chat back to you guys. But there's your code for your discount off. So you get 20% off your first order. As I've said already, get yourself 3 or 4 case studies of each pigmentation concern that you could potentially see, and help those clients, you know, you utilize your discount for that, and you know, potentially do them a bit of a case study fee. That's how I would recommend to do it. Think about building packages, so 4 treatments plus the home care. Okay. Think about the frequency of the treatments as well, and what you're going to be doing and when. And then obviously depth. If you do get the chance to have a look at Lance Setterfield's book, please do, because there's a big section in there about depths of microneedling and where we should and shouldn't push it to when we're treating any sort of skin condition. The only time I do push it a little bit more is if I'm doing hair regrowth and or scar therapy as well. So with the likes of this and just general rejuvenation, less is more. So 0.5, 0.8 top. You know, I dare say the majority of the face 0.3, 0.4. And it's always important to check with your indemnity what you are insured for in terms of the depth when you're using your pens as well. Okay. So any questions, please do drop me a message. Anything that I haven't answered, I'm thinking the main questions will be protocol, how often we're doing it, and obviously depths as well. And you can remember, you can utilize this product alongside all of the CMED range. So we've got our BioReappeal, we've got our Luminescens, and we've got our Aries. So just look at all of those things together and think, right, okay, you've got a full package portfolio of treatments that are very, very innovative that you can help your clients with there. But if you have any questions about it, then do drop me or the guys over at Shop Beautiful a line, and they will do, I will do my best, and they will do their best to get back to you as well. I would love as well, anyone that is using the product and getting some fabulous results, either share it with myself or share it with Shop Beautiful, so we can get those pictures out there and more people seeing this as a benefit for a treatment. And as always, we'll help you with kind of the PR side of things. That's all going to be coming along the way as well. So promoting this treatment for your clients as well. So any before and after pictures, please do tag and share me and Shop Beautiful in. I would love to see how you are getting on with the product, and or any questions that you have, do let me know as well. But many thanks for your patience this evening, guys. It's been a very eventful one, to say the least. But thank you for your patience. I hope you've enjoyed it and taken something from this, even if it's just a discount code. But yes, thank you very much this evening. And it's been a learning curve once more. Hopefully I will see you guys very soon, and I look forward to hearing from some, if not all of you, in the near future. Take care, guys, and have a good night, what's left of it.